And KVGC News Time, 7 minutes after the hour. Time for a look at the news for a Tuesday, the 23rd day of May for 2017. Fiscal matters were on the agenda of last night's Jackson City Council meeting. The council heard an annual report from ACRA Executive Director Carolyn Fraguglia on ACRA's activities and requests for just under $25,000 in funding from the city. Councilmember Wayne Garibaldi moved to fund the Recreation Agency for the year, but then withdrew the action at the suggestion that the city's contribution be part of the regular budget process. The council also voted on how much transient occupancy tax monies would be made available this year. Typically, the city offers 50% of the money raised through Measure E, or about $45,000, as grants to organizations that encourage tourism and economic activity in the city. At the suggestion of Mayor Connie Gonzalez, the council lowered the amount to be awarded to $30,000. A special committee will review applicants for the Measure E money. The council also took a preliminary look at the 2017-18 budget, which interim city manager Susan Peters called a tough budget. The current draft shows the city hundreds of thousands of dollars in deficit, so a number of cuts are expected to be made by the city council before a final budget is passed at the end of June.
Well, more details released in the stabbing at Mule Creek over the weekend. According to Lieutenant Angelo Gonzalez, at 12:31 Sunday afternoon, 28-year-old inmate Brian Jones came out of his cell, said, "What's up?" to an officer, then punched him in the face and stabbed him multiple times in the back of the head and the back with an inmate-made weapon. Staff responded and had to use physical force, batons, and pepper spray to subdue the inmate. The officer suffered stab wounds to the back of his head and ribs, also a cut under the eye. His vest protected him from further injury. He was taken to the hospital and released that evening, while 3 other officers sustained injuries and were treated and released. All officers are expected to make full recoveries. Jones transported to a prison in Sacramento, where he became aggressive and ultimately pushed his own wheelchair backwards and injured his head. He entered the prison system back in 2014 on a 58-to-life first-degree murder conviction.
Cutting crews in Calaveras County continue to remove burnt hazard trees in the Butte Fire area from both public right-of-way and private property. The total number of trees on the ground has increased to 8,241, which represents 98% of the trees marked for removal. The location and complexity of the remaining trees makes the job of taking them down more difficult and time-consuming. Hauling crews have also removed 41% of the debris and logs left by the cutting crews. There are now 3 cutting crews and 6 hauling crews working on the project. They will be working on the following roads today: Doster, Upper Doré, Michael, Avenue A, Prussian Hill, Potteroff, Baker Riley, Warden, and Whiskey Slide from 6:30 until 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Crews will be working Monday, Memorial Day. A schedule of where crews will be working is posted weekly on the county's Public Works and Butte Fire Recovery webpage. If you have questions or concerns, you can call the Hazard Tree Hotline, 754-6767.
Well, a vehicle stolen out of Amador County resulted in 4 arrests early Saturday in Tuolumne County. A Tuolumne County Sheriff deputy identified the 2014 Nissan Versa parked in a Jamestown driveway as stolen out of Amador County. After further investigation and talking with suspects, Tuolumne deputies arrested Stephen Belt, 39, of Sonora, Stephanie Shellman, 31, of Jamestown, Mystic Branstead, 19, of Jamestown, and Gregory Metter, 37, of Antioch. The charges ranged from failure to appear on a felony charge, presenting false identification to a peace officer, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of known stolen property. Now, it's unclear when the vehicle was originally reported stolen or where, here in Amador County, the owner lives.
Well, a massive statewide objection to proposed budget cuts to future farmers of America has caused Governor Jerry Brown to rethink his 2017-18 budget proposals. On Friday, Brown reversed a section of his 17-18 state budget that would have cut career technical education funding from K through 12 schools. The most notable program to lose funding would have been FFA. Educators, along with past and present students, took to social media to post their own FFA stories. And for now, the future of California's FFA program is no longer in jeopardy. California FFA currently has some 80,000 students enrolled in more than 320 high schools across the Golden State.
Well, a Central Coast man suffered moderate injury in a motorcycle crash Saturday in Calaveras County. The crash on Highway 4 west of Pool Station Road at about 1:30 Saturday afternoon. According to Highway Patrol, 69-year-old James Wellington of Los Osos was driving westbound at about 45 miles an hour when he allowed the motorcycle to drift off the roadway and laid it down on its side. He was taken to Mark Twain Medical Center with moderate injury.
And more details have been released on the second fatal car crash from Friday in Calaveras County. The crash happened just after 5 p.m. on Hospital Road, north of Live Oak Road. According to the CHP, 38-year-old Monica Latson of Sacramento was driving southbound and for unknown reasons allowed her pickup to drift onto the shoulder. She lost control of the pickup when trying to get back onto the roadway, and it flipped over, smashing into an oak tree. She was not wearing a seatbelt, was ejected, and died at the scene. Her passenger, 39-year-old David Bonham of Moraga, suffered major injuries and had to be extricated and flown to Doctors Medical Center in Modesto.
And the Jackson Rancheria Band of Miwok Indians invites you to attend the 4th annual Chasse Day, a weekend-long celebration welcoming spring with Native American games, cuisine, dancing, crafts, and much more. Admission is free and open to the public. Created back in 1968, Indian Grinding Rock State Park, situated along Pine Grove Volcano Road. The native name for the site, Chasse, is the Miwok word for grinding rock. For additional event info and Native American craft and vendor registration, contact Natasha at 223-8102.
And that's a look at local news on this Gold Country Tuesday, the 23rd day of May. From the KVGC News Center,
I'm JD.
And I'm Jim Geedy reporting.